credibility,
grit, strength,
trust,
confident, perseverance,
excellent,
empathy,
resilience.
During my 2 years as chief judge and during my 22 years as a trial judge, I have seen firsthand the value of having females as lead attorneys. They know how to connect with our juries. They are very successful, and that is something that we look forward to encouraging on our court.
I think there is really one step, and that is to accept that there is gender bias in our profession, and it is against women who are in our profession. I don't think that we've done that. I don't think we've accepted that that is in fact reality in our industry. Once we accept that fact, then we can begin to do the work of deconstructing the structures that are in place that keep women lawyers at a disadvantage as lead counsel.
I think the fact of the matter is we all know litigation is a male-dominated field. If the law is, litigation is more so. And I think that the measure of success in litigation is very much a male metric. It's winning. And we tend to define our success and our gratification in terms of winning, but I'm as competitive as the next person, and I'd like to win as much as the next person, but you cannot define your gratification in this field in terms of winning. You just don't get enough opportunities to do it.
Working with women has been critical to my trial practice. It's been important for me to see people who look like me, who may suffer from the same gender stereotypes that I do, and understanding how they overcame those. It's important when you're working in a field where it's not as popular that the lead trial attorney or the litigator on the case is a woman, that you have other people around you that you can pattern your practice off of.
We really believe in the power of one, and by that I mean what we can do to help one woman at a time. And if we do our job well with that one woman, and we encourage her to be her best in whatever line of work she discovers along the way, we will have done the job.
I know when I was in law school, one of our requirements was to go over to court and to watch lawyers, and I think that's the best way to inspire them. I think the minute you step into a courtroom, sometimes you get the bug, and the more you see, the more you want to do.
As a third-year law student now, I've watched women in the firm that I worked at who's practiced litigation, like employment litigation, other types of litigation in federal courts, and just to see them use their gifts, use their JD, use their skills and talents to make the world better for real people. That's what pushed and encouraged me to be a lawyer, and not just be a lawyer, but to become a litigator after law school.
I think there's a few ways that we can encourage young women. First, I think it's important to provide them opportunities to have trial-like experiences, and experiences where they have to go through the rigors of preparation, where they're up on their feet and able to speak in front of others, and when they have opportunities to do that kind of quick response to the environment, response to what's going on. Those are the type of things that happen at trial, and so it's important to provide a groundwork for those type of experiences so women can gain confidence in them.
I think it starts early on, even before young women go to law school. Inspiring them to be confident, to own their professional endeavors, I think is very critical. The stream of confidence throughout your professional career as a woman is a mainstay. It's absolutely critical to succeed as an attorney, period, but specifically a trial.
It's a male-dominated courtroom, so I think by showing that there are females out there that do this and who are really good at their job will help young women want to pursue a career in litigation, so just give them an opportunity.
I admire the strength of a litigator, the perseverance, the determination.
You have to be able to walk into a courtroom and let the other person on the other side know that you're a force to be reckoned with before you even open your mouth. That is quite a skill, and I've been very blessed to witness many women who have the skill and are phenomenal at it.
What I think firm management can do to advance women trial attorneys is, number one, to give them opportunities, and then two, to recognize their abilities.
Well, if firms want to make sure that women become lead trial counsel, they have to make sure that women are given an opportunity to be leading cases, to be heavily involved and making decisions on cases. Clients won't see women as lead trial counsel if they don't see them leading in other respects in the cases. And so I know it's difficult sometimes for more senior people, women and men, to take a step back and allow more junior people to grow and blossom and to become the leader of a case. But that really is the only way that women can go on to become lead trial counsel.
Government entities give a great opportunity for young attorneys to learn litigation skill sets through being 7-11. I believe that women should be encouraged to participate in mock trials and moot court competitions in order to further hone those litigation skills while they're in law school.
You must project an air of confidence, not arrogance, confidence.
And most importantly, and here's the thing that's been MIA, she needs to have had opportunities in the courtroom to develop that comfort level. For most people, including yours truly, it didn't come automatically. It came from experience, trial and error.
One of the biggest and most important skills that a young woman could develop is how to show that you like people. So we're really good at building relationships, but a jury is going to look right through you if you don't enjoy being where you are and if you're not comfortable in your own skin.
The most important skill for young female attorneys to develop is credibility. Credibility means a lot of different things. It's not just about being prepared and knowing your case cold. It's also about how you deliver the subject matter. And so it comes with confidence, it comes with practice, it comes with credibility in terms of being genuine.
When young women come to me and ask what they can do to increase their chances of being trial counsel or having other significant opportunities in the courtroom, I encourage them to look at the opportunities that are presented to them and really dive in. Oftentimes, whether it's a young associate in a law firm or a new AUSA at the U.S. Attorney's Office, they'll be given a piece of some larger case. And my advice is become an expert, make yourself indispensable.
I think the most important skill that a young litigator can develop is oral advocacy, because that's the area where there are the fewest opportunities, really. And traditionally, the opportunities that have existed to go into court to speak in front of a judge and a jury have gone to men first. And a lot of times, the people who are making decisions about who's going to get to speak in court may not think of the woman associate first.
Sometimes young women lawyers ask me, what does it take to be a good trial lawyer? Is there one characteristic that you think a woman needs to have to be a good trial lawyer? I don't know, frankly, that women are any different than men in this regard, but I guess if I had to identify one characteristic, I'd say resilience. And the only way you can really get that resilience is to do it over and over again and to get experience.
The most helpful piece of trial advice I got as a young woman attorney was to be prepared, to know your case, know the law that applies to your case, anticipate what your opposition is going to put on at trial. And when you've done all of those things, trust that you know what you're doing. Trust is so important. Trust that you have the instincts to do it.
The most helpful piece of trial advice I received as a young attorney was, I think, twofold. It was be yourself and trust yourself. You need to just know that you can do this and there's nothing that can stop you.
It's important for women to be litigators. It is important for women to take charge of their careers and take charge of the courtroom.
I am so glad to report that I am seeing more female lead trial attorneys in major cases. Last year, I had a dental malpractice case where both sets of attorneys were female. The clerk in the courtroom was a female, the sheriff was a female, and of course there was me. Now the most interesting thing is that no one noticed until the end of trial. At the end of the trial, I asked the jurors, did it make a difference? And they also had not noticed. So how should we interpret this? We should interpret this as meaning that there is more diversity as far as gender in jury trial cases. Now, I do want to tell you what the jurors did notice. They noticed the level of skill that the attorneys showed in the courtroom, and they were amazed. I mean, these were some terrific attorneys.
Too seldom do I see women in the courtroom. I've spent 4 decades watching mostly white men occupy those chairs in front of jurors that are much more diverse today, and the diversity commands, I think, and clients are demanding that they have a more diverse trial base.
I think that juror feedback for women is probably a little bit different than men. For me personally, it can be that they love my enthusiasm. They love the way that I stick up for my client. Quite frankly, the most common juror feedback that I've ever gotten was on my shoes. I can't imagine that men get comments about their ties or their shoes.
In general, jurors look for lawyers to present the issues clearly and efficiently to them, as do I. Jurors do seem to appreciate a little more drama than I do, but I don't see them reacting to gender these days at all.
We have to create an office where every person feels respected and heard and part of the team. To do that, we have to figure out a way to treat every lawyer similarly, but uniquely to their talents and skills.
I think another concept we have to talk about is sponsorship. Really putting women forward, not just counseling them and mentoring them, but putting them forward to say, yes, she can do this. And then of course the last piece is clients. Clients have to advocate for women too, and they have to be willing to take a chance on a bet the company case that a woman can be just as effective as any man.
I think there'll be many, many more female lead trial attorneys in 5 to 10 years than there are now. And I base that simply on my own historical experience. I know that when I was in law school, the number of females in law school back then in the 1970s, I believe I was in law school, there may be 5 or 10%. Now I think it's 50%, anecdotally at least. I look at the number of female attorneys who are in court today. Back when I started again, it was very small, maybe 5 or 10%. Now it's approximately half. I look at the number of female judges on the bench today. When I got on as a judge in 1988, back then there were probably, and I'm estimating, but probably 10 to 20% of the judges were female. Now it's somewhere between 40 and 50%. So I think it takes time, but I think that we're getting there, and I think that it'll be much, much better in 5 to 10 years.
Working with women has helped my trial practice, because one of the things I learned very early in my career, and I'm very grateful that I learned it, is that I don't have to compromise my femininity because I am in a male-dominated profession.
We can't underestimate the power of mentoring and encouragement by other women.
I feel that it is very important for children and girls in particular to see women as lead trial counsel, to assure them that they are brilliant and that there are brilliant women litigators, and they do exist, and even more so than their male counterparts.
It's not an option. It's my responsibility and obligation to mentor young women.
So that there is a place for daughters like mine and daughters like yours to be at the table. The way that we can emphasize the importance of us being litigators, of us being law professors, of us being government officials at the highest levels of government, of us being advocates for our profession, the nobility of our profession. We can't do it unless we stay in the game.
I didn't know men could be lawyers.